First, let me say that I do like Peter Doocy, and that may not be popular with everybody. That's okay. We began a lot of these sparring. It became sparring because he would ask questions. He wrote the questions a lot of times. Sometimes I'm sure they were worked out with people he worked with at Fox. They represented what Fox was talking about on that day. But I will say at the end of the day, we did not brunch, but we also didn't hate each other. It was somewhere in between.
It was somewhere in between, which makes sense. Jen Psaki was talking as she's departing as White House press secretary about her relationship with Peter Doocy, which pretty much every other day got headlines because they had a bit of a back and forth. He'd ask a ridiculous question, she'd give a long answer, give him some snark, he'd toss a little snark back, everybody's happy. Now because of that, because everyone seemed to be happy from his points of view, the people that liked him, and her points of view, the people that liked her, people wondered, is this just all for fun? Well, no one asked Jen Psaki, but she asked herself and answered that question. Watch.
We had a good relationship. We had a sparring in the briefing room. Is that performative? Maybe it is, right? And what does it say about the fact that we had that back and forth in the briefing room? And on social media, I was cheered for pushing back on Peter Doocy, and he was cheered for pushing back on me. And in many ways, as much as we had a civil, good, professional relationship, that does speak to kind of the division in society and what social media does and drives.
Okay, pause here, Rick, because I want you to jump in here. We have a couple more clips of this back and forth, because Doocy did talk about this as well. We're gonna get to the Doocy stuff, but this is where this whole thing takes its whole, not turn, but is where it gets interesting. Okay. So we had this back and forth, we spar. Was it performative? Maybe. Well, I mean, is it or isn't it, Jen? First of all, and then number two, she said then that happens is it shows, it highlights the divisions within our country. There's people that supported him and people that supported her. It does highlight that. But then what part do she and he play in that is what was left off. At least that's where my brain went to. I was like, well, if you understand this, do you think that's good for the country? And if you do, that's just your opinion. Maybe some people think that it's not, because while you guys are having performative art, other people are thinking that this is for real. And maybe it affects their lives.
Well, I know we have other videos, and I'll keep this very brief, but there are a lot of points to hit on. One is performative is also subjective. Like, she could have been hinting at him being performative because a lot of his questions, let's say 90+% of them, were dumb. They never had any merit. And she is right, as we know in media. And even JJ Redick said it this past week in a tweet, like, hey, I don't know if you know how television works, but we are given a certain thing that we're supposed to talk about and we need to pick a side. There is no question that a program director at Fox will say, ask her about this so we can get the quote and then debunk it. But it reminds me of the Carlin quote where, like, she says, we have a good relationship and we're friendly and we're friends. It's a big club and you ain't in it. And neither are we. Because this is unfortunately what happens when it comes to politicians in the press room. And we saw it with Sarah Huckabee Sanders as well, when she had a goodbye party, I believe, or something of the sort, where she invited the press and they attended. So again, it's a big club, we're just not in it.
Had a pretty good time. So from the press's point of view here, Peter Doocy went on Fox and Friends, was talking about their departures as well. This has become a big event, and it may have solidified what she was talking about as far as how cordial they were with each other, but not to the point of buddy. Watch.
Yesterday, Jen Psaki was asked if she would miss you, and she said, yes, I will. Said you guys had a very good professional relationship. Are you gonna miss her?
I think so, yes. And it is the end of an era, like you said, Ainsley, because everywhere that I've gone for the last year and a half, I have people rolling down their car windows to say, hey, Peter, you gotta ask Jen about X, Y, or Z.
So Peter, our amazing team put together the Doocy and Psaki greatest hits. Watch this.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night?
I think, Steve, he was celebrating.
President Biden once said in 1983 he thought court packing was
time back machine.
Oh yeah.
Did I say it's not a political issue?
Yes, you actually said some call it a political issue. It is not.
I'm always happy to have this conversation with you, even about your awesome socks you're having on today.
So there's a bit of that maybe performative art back and forth, and I won't play the last thing of him also saying that she made him a better reporter because he had to prepare himself, which I think is a bit of an admission that you usually don't have to prepare yourself to go talk with the White House press secretary when you're asking detailed and leading questions, and you have to back up your thoughts and your question with who asked you. Anyways, that's what he then asked, or then point out later as if that's a normal thing. I had to prepare now. But anyways, last thoughts on this, Rick, because again, like I'm okay with it, but just the fact that it's kind of covered in broad daylight is kind of what rubs me the wrong way here. You can be buddies with anybody you want. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. But I just wonder if people realize that this isn't always the battles that we think we're seeing. So
I agree with that. Here's my very last point. Yeah, here's my very last point. Not we, they, on the other side of the aisle, elected a reality show host. This is the modern day of airing briefings. Everyone, and she is right, on social media, people would cheer for her or hate her, and cheer for him or hate him, and say, oh, he's so dumb, blah, blah, blah. It has become a reality show where we are going for the snippets instead of having actual substance and solutions. So I'll leave it at that.
And she's going to probably television. Well, more money to be made. And fine, again, great for her. But you can maybe it came because of those performative moments.